Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Jean Hersholdt with another listener prize play from July 3rd, 1946. Jean Hersholdt as Dr. Christian. This is a weird one. It's entitled Two Loves Had Marian.
Dr. Christian's office, Judy Price speaking. Well, hello there, Willie. How's my favorite Boy Scout? Want me to settle an argument about sunburn? Okay, Willie, what's the problem?
The Vaseline Program, the only show in radio where the audience writes the scripts. Tonight's play is one of those which received a special award of $500. It is called Two Loves Had Marian. The authors are Tom Taggart and Ashley Buck. Jean Hersholdt is starred as Dr. Christian, with Janet Waldo playing Judy Price.
Good afternoon. Won't you sit down, Miss...
Douglas, Marian Douglas.
I don't believe I've seen you in River's End before.
No, I just arrived. My home's in New York. Doctor,
Yes?
Frankly, I don't know where to begin. It's all so involved and confusing.
You're ill?
No, I'm not ill. At least not ill the way your patients usually are. You'll probably think I'm silly, but I've come all the way from New York just to see you.
Well, I didn't know my fame had spread that far.
Oh, that isn't it. That isn't why I've come. It's because of David.
David?
David Rodell. Does that name mean anything to you?
Why, yes. We have a young man here in town, or rather did have, by that name. I believe he's still in the army. Or perhaps it was the Marines.
Well, isn't he here now?
Well, about that I'm not too sure. I'll ask Judy Price, my assistant. Oh, Judy! She'll know.
Yes, Doctor?
Do you remember a boy named David Rodell?
David Rodell? Of course I do. We went to school together. Then you know him. You know what he's like. If anyone can help me, you can. You see, Dr. Christian, I met David Rodell a little over 2 years ago in New York. I was working at the downtown canteen for servicemen. It was a Saturday night, and there was dancing. And I saw this soldier leaning against a pillar. He was all alone. Hello, Corporal.
Hello.
Not dancing?
Well, as a matter of fact, I don't know anybody.
Who does? That's what we're here for, to get acquainted. My name's Marian Douglas.
I'm David Rodell. Will you dance?
I'd love to. This your first trip to New York?
Mm-hmm.
Oh!
Pardon me.
That's all right.
I've got 2 left feet. At least that's what my sergeant tells me. You're a good dancer.
I've had quite a bit of practice lately.
You're here all the time?
3 nights a week.
You work?
Volunteer, Red Cross.
You don't get paid for that.
No, Where are you from, Corporal?
River's End.
River's End? Where on earth is that?
Oh, it's a little town in the Middle West. New York your home?
Yes, I'm one of those rare people. I was born here.
Ah, it's a wonderful place, all right. Oh, they would. Just when we were getting into the swing.
I think this is intermission. Would you like a drink and a sandwich?
Yeah, but let's have them somewhere else. How about going out to...
I'm sorry, but we're not allowed. Rule number 2, and I quote, no hostess will leave the club with a member of the armed forces.
Yeah, I'm sorry, too. You see, this is my last furlough. When it's over, I report to a POE.
POE?
A port of embarkation.
Oh.
I'm shipping. Say, maybe we could leave here at different times and then meet outside.
That's been tried, too.
Successfully?
Very. But I'm on duty until 11.
I'll wait.
Oh, good. It's only another 2 hours.
Yeah, and that's nothing compared to the other waiting.
Other waiting?
Yes. All those years we didn't know each other.
That was how I met him, the way thousands of people meet. I know people laugh at love at first sight, but That's how it was with us. I think Miss Price will agree with me that David has definite charm. Over 6 feet tall, dark curly hair, a smile, well, it's sort of... I know I sound like...
Wait a minute. You're not talking about David Rodell.
But I am.
Oh, then it's not the David Rodell we know. He's short and sandy-haired.
I was afraid you'd say that.
What?
Perhaps you'll understand better when I've finished. I told you it was confusing. It's more than that. It's completely unbelievable and frightening. His furlough was for 10 days. I'd met him on the 3rd, so we really only had a week together. Did you ever try to crowd a whole lifetime into just a week? Well, we did. One day we were sitting on a bench in the park, watching 2 butterflies.
I don't know of anything that makes you feel as though spring is here as much as butterflies. You almost feel like them, light and gay.
They're the whole spirit of spring.
I remember when I was a kid taking piano lessons. Le papillon, the butterfly. It went...
I know. I had it too. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
That's it. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Gee, I haven't thought of that in years. When I was a kid, I used to sit quietly, and butterflies would light on my shoulder.
Oh, they won't do that. They're too timid.
No, they're not. I'll show you. Now, quiet.
Oh, but David...
Quiet, woman. The great Rodello butterfly charmer will now go into his act.
They're coming this way.
Quiet.
They are.
Quiet.
That one did. David. Why, you're the only man I ever knew who had a way with butterflies.
Too bad they're the only ones.
I wouldn't say that.
Look, Marion, I guess there should be a build-up to this, but I don't know how to go about it. So I'll just keep it simple and say the same old words that millions before me have said. I love you very much, darling. Will you marry me?
I thought you'd never get around to asking me.
Hey, that's the wrong thing to say. Your line is, this is so sudden.
We haven't time for lines these days. There's a war on, remember?
Yeah, I remember. We'll have to be married today. Let's go.
We can't be married today, David. There's a law.
A law against getting married?
No, darling. But after you apply for the license, you must wait 5 days.
5 days?
Uh-huh.
I'll be in the middle of the ocean in 5 days.
I'll wait for you, darling. Wait until you come back. We can marry then.
But... Well, maybe you're right. It would be better if you were free in case Well, my present vocation isn't exactly a safe one.
It isn't that at all. And I don't want to be free. Not if it means never being married to you. We belong to each other, David. And that's the way I want it. Forever.
Another Dr. Christian love story. By the way, you noticed at the beginning that Janet Waldo replacing Rosemary De Camp in this particular episode. If that name sounds familiar, you heard her as the voice of Judy Jetson. Also, a number of other shows, including Penelope Pitstop and Josie and the Pussycats in animation through Hanna-Barbera. And on radio, she was Meet Corliss Archer. She was Corliss Archer in that. Sadly, we lost her in 2016, but she made it all the way to 97. Dr. Christian, July 3rd, 1946 on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
You ever make a change and then think, why didn't I do this years ago? Well, that's how people feel about switching to Medishare for their health care, especially now with inflation the way it is. People are very happy with the savings. Most families save about $500 a month when they switch. It's a huge help when prices are going up so fast in so many other areas. And Medishare's customer satisfaction rate is double that of health insurance. It's just a different experience, and people really like that. Medishare is an alternative to health insurance. It's a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills, and it's been going strong for over 25 years. It really is the gold standard, the most trusted name in healthcare sharing. Find out why people love it, find out why they rave about the customer service, and find out how good it feels to save some money right now. They're super easy to talk to. Here's the number, 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE, 833-34-BIBLE.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more Dr. Christian and another prize play, Two Loves Had Marian. This was originally broadcast July 3rd, 1946.
We didn't get married. David left the following morning. We wrote each other regularly. Finally, I knew he was somewhere in the Pacific area. I used to dream of him every night. I know it sounds foolish, but in those dreams he was like a defending angel with wings. Every letter he wrote was as beautiful and tender as that day in the park with the butterflies. Of course, I lived in constant fear. I subscribed to the River's End paper and watched its casualty lists. That was how I learned about you, Doctor. When VJ Day came, David had more than enough points to bring him home. We decided to live in New York, and I was lucky enough to find a small apartment. The day he was due to arrive, I moved to the new apartment and told Mother when he phoned to send him there. You can imagine how impatient I was waiting for the bell to ring. Dave. Darling, Oh.
Marion.
Who are you?
Who am I? Darling, don't tease me.
Who are you?
Why, I'm the bad, bad wolf come to eat up Little Red Riding Hood. Watch me wiggle my ears.
What do you want?
Marion, what's the matter?
Have you a message for me from David?
A message? Marion, I'm David.
Can he... You're who?
I'm David Rodell, the man you're going to marry.
You're not David Rodell. I never saw you before in my life.
Well, then, who am I?
It's some trick, a joke.
Marion, what's the matter? I'm David, don't you know me? I couldn't have changed that much.
No, you certainly couldn't. He was 6'1" with dark, curly hair.
But, Marion, I'm David Rodell.
Get out of here! Whatever it is, it's not funny. Get out!
Of course. But listen to me.
Get out! You're not my David. You're an imposter. Get out! He tried to phone me the next day and convince me that he was David. He kept calling me, trying to see me. To get rid of him, I finally had to have him arrested. The judge ordered him to quit annoying me and let him off with a suspended sentence. After that morning in court, I never saw him again.
One moment, Miss Douglas.
Yes, Doctor?
Did this stranger or imposter, as you call him, give any evidence that he was David Rodell?
Well, he had an honorable discharge certificate, and the name on it was...
Yes?
David Rodell.
And his home address?
River's End.
There couldn't be more than one David Rodell in River's End, could there, Judy?
Oh, of course not, and he's of medium height and blonde.
No, he's tall and dark. I've come all this way. I've done so much to find him.
There now. Don't excite yourself. I'm sure we can help you.
Nobody will help me. I even went to Washington, to the War Department. I was determined to find the David I had known.
Our records show that David Rodell of River's End returned on the date you mentioned, Miss Douglas, and on the ship you mentioned, and since then has been honorably discharged.
But that isn't the David Rodell I mean.
It has been further confirmed that David Rodell saw active combat in the areas which you've mentioned.
It can't be. The David I knew...
I'm sorry, Miss Douglas. Every date you've given us leads to but one thing, that the man who claims to be David Rodell is David Rodell. He was the only person by that name in the infantry battalion to which you addressed your mail.
Please listen to me.
We have, Miss Douglas, and I regret there's nothing more we can do about it.
Well, if the War Department investigated, I don't know what we... Tell me, Miss Douglas, you spoke of your mother. Did she meet both Davids?
No, only the imposter. The week the real David was on his furlough, my mother wasn't in New York.
How about your friends?
No, I was selfish. I suppose I kept David to myself.
Then the only person who could distinguish between the two men is yourself?
I'm afraid so.
And since the second David has so clearly proved his identity, it's the first man, the man you fell in love with, who's the imposter.
Oh, no.
You mean the man she met at the canteen wasn't Dave Rodell, but the man who came back was. Is that right, Doctor?
Yes.
Well, the first one might have been an army deserter and took the name of Rodell by accident. Oh, of course, that's it. He might even have been in David's outfit.
No, that doesn't hold water either.
Why not?
Because if there were two David Rodells, how did the second one come into the picture? Remember, he was the man who answered all of Marian's letters. He was the one who was overseas. And finally, the one who came back to marry her.
Wait a minute. You're getting me all mixed up. First David, second David. One tall and dark, one not so tall and blonde. It's a regular Gordian knot. It would take King Solomon to cut it open.
You can't help me, Doctor?
Oh, of course he can help you. You've come all this way, and David's such a nice guy.
Which David?
Our David, of course.
Well, phone him to come over here, will you, Judy?
No, not the imposter. I don't want to see him again.
Then why did you come to River's End?
Because I hoped against hope that I'd find my David here. I know now I was wrong.
You weren't wrong, Miss Douglas.
Not wrong?
No. Your David is here.
Dr. Christian, this is Lieutenant Rodell.
Oh, Lieutenant. Yes, come in. Sit down. Were you ever a corporal, Lieutenant?
Yes, and a sergeant, too. I got my commission in the field. Iwo Jima, to be exact.
Did you ever know a girl named Marian Duck?
She's here?
Oh, you did know her then?
Know her. I was engaged to marry her until she changed. I came back and she didn't recognize me.
Have you changed?
Oh, not that much. I hadn't shrunk 5 inches and bleached my hair, if that's what you mean. She's been to see you?
Yes, trying to find her, David.
But I'm he. Doesn't she understand that? What's the matter with her, Doctor? Has she lost her mind?
When you went overseas, she started to worry. You were Marion's hero. She gradually idolized you, built you up in her mind into the personification of all heroes of romance. Well, tall, dark, handsome, brave, curly hair, a winning smile.
Sort of idol worship, huh?
Exactly. Well, you became Sir Galahad in shining armor. And when you came back, well...
5'8", a towhead, 145 pounds. Must have been quite a shock.
It was. It was such a shock that, well, you can see what he did. Now she won't even believe the evidence of the legal authorities. She sought help from the wrong sources. Almost any medical man would have recognized that...
But what can we do to make her realize I'm the man she fell in love with?
Wish I knew.
Well, isn't there any cure for such cases?
Well, sometimes there is. You see, to Marion, you're two men.
Sort of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
That's it. The man of goodness, whom she idolized, and the man of evil, who is trying to take his place. If we could only tie the two men together. Well, there must be something that would make you two men one. Sir Galahad with shining wings.
Shining armor.
What?
You said Sir Galahad with shining wings. You meant with shining armor.
Shining wings? That's it, Judy. That's it.
Dr. Christian, I told you I didn't want to see him.
Miss Douglas, I brought you here to this park under false pretenses, and I apologize, but believe me, it's only to help this young man. You see, he's under a strange delusion. A delusion that you're the girl he loves. If you'd only talk to him, perhaps he...
I suppose I have been rather unkind.
Well, just talk to him here in the park for a while.
Very well, but I really...
Here he comes now. Oh, David! David!
Oh, you stay with us.
No, I think that... good afternoon, David. Beautiful spring day, isn't it?
It certainly is. Hello, Marion.
Good afternoon.
Well, I've got to be running along. I've got a patient having a baby. And you know how impatient babies are. They just won't wait.
May I sit down?
Why, certainly.
Thanks.
I'm afraid I owe you an apology, Mr. Rodell, for treating you so badly in New York.
Well, that's all right.
I was rather upset.
I can understand that. You're expecting one man and getting another. What was your David like, Marion?
He was very tall, dark curly hair, and he had a smile. He was strong, yet kind and gentle, too. I remember one day in the park in New York...
Yes?
Seems so long ago.
Yes. Remember the butterflies?
Yes, the butterflies. How did you know?
I don't know of anything that makes you feel as though spring is here as much as butterflies. You almost feel like them, light and gay.
You're the whole spirit of spring.
I remember when I was a kid taking piano lessons.
The butterfly, it went da 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 da.
Remember, Marion?
David knew it too. How did you know that? You're trying to fool me.
When I was a kid, I'd sit quietly and the butterflies would light on my shoulder.
On David's, too.
Let's be quiet and see what happens now.
There aren't any butterflies around.
Maybe if we sit quietly.
Oh, but I
Look, there's one now.
Where?
Over on that bush. There'll be another one. See? There it is.
Yellow and black. Just like...
What?
Oh, nothing.
Quiet. The great Rodello, butterfly charmer, will now go into his act.
They're coming this way.
Quiet.
They did. David, why, you're the only man I ever knew who... David. You're David Rodell. David.
Oh dear, July 3rd, 1946, Dr. Christian on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We'll hear the conclusion following these important words from your favorite radio station.
No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. That's 800-738-5332.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you.
And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required.
Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary.
800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now the conclusion of Dr. Christian, Two Loves Had Marian, as it was originally broadcast July 3rd, 1946.
You needn't sit there looking so smug.
Have they gone?
They were married this morning, and you had nothing to do with it. It was the butterflies.
Oh, that's right, Judy. It was the butterflies. Lovely creatures.
Of course, you arranged for them to meet in the park, but you certainly couldn't predict there'd be butterflies or that they'd light on his shoulder.
Of course not, Judy. That was just Mother Nature. She wanted to help Marion, too.
What made you think butterflies would turn the trick?
Judy, you're a woman. And what's the biggest moment in a woman's life?
I suppose her wedding day?
No, the moment the man she loves asks her to marry him. Marian Douglas' moment was all mixed up with butterflies. I just thought we'd recreate the moment.
Lucky for you, there were butterflies.
Very lucky, Judy. The next time you're going that way, take back Frankie Owen's minnows net, will you?
Minnow net? Oh, what were you doing catching minnows?
Who said anything about catching minnows? And, Judy, throw out the rest of the solution too, will you?
What is it?
Nothing, just a little sugar and water.
Sugar and what? Why, you old fraud. No wonder David Rodell had to send his suit to the cleaners.
And the curtain comes down on the $500 Dr. Christian prize play, Two Loves Had Marian, with our star Jean Hersholdt waiting to greet you. And now, here is Jean Hersholdt.
Thank you very much. Next week our play is called Spotlight on Grandma, and it's the work of Rebecca Bennett of Indianapolis, Indiana. We invite you all to join us again for the Vaseline program next Wednesday evening. And until then, I'll say good night.
Hard work, whether gardening, housework, or handling chemicals and dyes, often makes hands red and sore. Protect hands with Vaseline Petroleum Jelly. Before work, smooth on Vaseline Petroleum Jelly to guard against ground-in grime. After washing up, apply again lightly to soothe and heal. For hand comfort, Vaseline Petroleum Jelly. The toll of traffic accidents is mounting daily. Little careless chances each day are causing big smash-ups. There's only one way to reduce this danger, and that's for each one of us to resolve not to take those chances. After all, what do we gain by attempting to beat the lights, or speeding when nobody's looking, or driving when we've had a few drinks, or driving fast in the dark? Don't do it, and don't let your friends do it. It's not worth the risk of smash-ups and death.
It definitely is not. July 3rd, 1946, Dr. Christian on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
It's a big, bold story set in the heartland of America, along the edge of Lonely Mountain. I am open for business. And so Big William Gorgon, played by handsome Michael James, fiercely set down his Midwest roots.
Oh, darling, we're going to sell bathrobes and raise chickens.
Set his adoring wife, Wilhelmina, portrayed by beautiful Glenda Olsen.
Oh, I love our store, Will.
But they hadn't counted on Big Ralph's bathrobes and cattle store coming to town.
Oh, Will, what will we do, Will?
Will had a plan, a way of facing off against tough Big Ralph. We're going to change the face of America. We're going to advertise.
Ad for what?
With print, broadcasting, and bus benches, we're going to tell people who we are and where we are.
What's a bus?
And so the story of how one man brought advertising to the heartland.
Oh, will it work?
It will. Well, my name ain't Will, Wilhelmina. You got to advertise or we'll die. And so the greatest marketing story of all time is here. Advertise or die, dopey.
Put your message on this national advertising platform. Email classicradiotheater@gmail.com. classicradiotheater@gmail.com. You know, the list of actors who portrayed Johnny Dollar over the years is amazing, and some good actors. Charles Russell, Edmund O'Brien, John Lund, also Bob Reddick, and the last Johnny Dollar, Mandel Kramer. But in my mind, none played it better than Bob Bailey. These quarter-hour shows gave the character much more depth than the earlier characters did, O'Brien and Russell and Lund. It was a very two-dimensional character. You felt more depth in who Johnny Dollar was in Bob Bailey's portrayal. And, of course, Mandel Kramer maintained that depth through the last few shows. He took over on the half-hour shows from June of 1961 until September of 1962, the final Yours Truly Johnny Dollar show. Now, we are going to go back to July 3rd, 1956, as we have part 2 of the 5-part Yours Truly Johnny Dollar story, the Midas Touch Matter. This episode, as I said, originally broadcast July 3rd, 1956.
From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Johnny Dollar. This is the office of Jake.
Dollar, you're the one I want to talk to.
Huh?
You heard me. I want you to meet me alone.
Oh, who are you?
Tell you when and where in a second. Don't come carrying a gun, because, mister, I can outdraw you 2 to 1.
Who is this?
They call me Hard Luck Dennis.
Oh, you planning to add another murder to that of the Haskell brothers?
13 miles out of Kingman on the highway east. Little side road to the right, mark Yucca Trail.
Now listen.
Mile and a quarter on, you'll see an old miner shack. Be there at 3 o'clock sharp.
And what if I decide
Remember what
to...
I told you? Bring somebody with you or try anything funny and you'll never get out of this desert alive.
Hello.
That call for me, Johnny?
No, it wasn't, Jake. But I wonder why a killer would call me.
Tonight and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar, location Kingman, Arizona, to the Greater Southwest Insurance and Liability Company. Following is a report of expenditures during my investigation of the Midas Touch Matter. Jake Kessler, local representative for Greater Southwest Insurance and Liability, had laid it out pretty clearly. The 3 Haskell brothers, prosperous gentlemen ranchers, had taken out life policies totaling $1.5 million double indemnity, which meant that their death in what was supposed to look like an accident at the bottom of the Midas Touch mine could cost Southwest a cool $3 million. And the finger of suspicion pointed straight at one Hard Luck Dennis, prospector and promoter. It was in Jake Kessler's office that I'd received the phone call from Hard Luck.
Where did Hard Luck tell you to meet him, Johnny?
Oh, I'll find it all right.
Where?
Look, I think I'd better handle this alone, Jake.
Johnny, he's being hunted by every available policeman here in Kingman. He's a killer. Like I told you, he got $20,000 apiece from the Haskell brothers, cash. Then took him down to the Midas Touch and caved it in on him.
All right, even supposing that he did. Why would he do it?
Well, daggone it, that's as obvious as those 2 heads you're wearing. The mine is worthless.
How do you know?
Because smarter people than him gave it up over 20 years ago.
I thought you told me the ore samples he brought out assayed at $1,100 a ton.
Oh, now, look, Johnny, you know as well as I do that there's more ways to salt a gold mine than there is to skin a cat.
You have any proof that Hard Luck salted that one?
No, but Tad Harding will.
Who?
Captain Tad Harding, police. He hasn't lived out in this country all his life for nothing.
Where's Harding now?
At the Midas Touch. But when he gets back here, you see him. He'll show you that I'm right.
Well, if you are, it certainly would point the finger at Hard Luck Dennis, wouldn't it?
Can't you understand, Johnny? Hard Luck needed money. He's always needed money. He salted that mine, got $60,000 from the Haskells on a lick and a promise, then caved in the mine on them before they could get wise to him.
Good theory.
You'll find it's a fact. That's why he skipped out as soon as he... Oh.
Yeah, he couldn't have skipped very far, could he? And if he were guilty, why would he want to see me?
All right, Johnny. Now listen to me. The Haskells were 3 of our finest citizens, so the whole town will cooperate with you. So don't do anything foolish like meeting that Hard Luck Dennis alone.
That willingness to cooperate includes you, Jake?
You know it does. I'll do anything.
All right, then just give me your word you won't tell anyone that I'm meeting Hard Luck.
Well, now,
because if you do, I'll drop this case like a hot potato. Well?
Okay, Johnny, for the time being.
Okay.
I just noticed out the window. Tad Harding's car just pulled up in front of police headquarters.
Then what are we waiting for? Let's go. Captain Tad Harding turned out to be a tall, well-built, cool-headed man of about 40 who impressed me as being able to cope with any situation that might arise. He bore out everything Jake Kessler had told me about the Haskells and about Hard Luck. And he added 2 new and very important bits of information. One, that he'd found nothing whatsoever to indicate that the Midas Touch had been salted. On the contrary, he'd picked up some very rich chunks of ore. 2, he'd learned the probable cause of the cave-in and what it meant.
I told you it was murder, Johnny. I told you.
Tad Harding had found a length of wire rope, one end wrapped around the spool of a powerful hand winch. The other end had very obviously been tied around a pillar, a thick pillar of rock and gravel that had been dug around so as to leave support for the ceiling of a horizontal shaft. Jake and I walked back to his office.
That's it, Johnny. No doubt about it. No doubt. A few quick turns of the handle on that winch, the pillar came down and the roof caved in.
I'll have to admit it certainly looks that way.
Well, at least the company's off the hook for $1.5 million of the insurance.
If we can prove that somebody operated that winch while the Haskells were down there.
Now, look,
And
Johnny,
that means finding that person.
I'm satisfied it was murder.
Would the courts be?
The court?
Sure. When the claims on these policies are filed, they'll be for $3 million on the basis of double indemnity for accidental deaths. You can bet your last penny on that. Claims haven't been filed yet, have they?
Oh, no.
Well, I hope we'll have time before they are.
Time?
To prove it was murder by producing the murderer.
You still plan to see and talk to Hard Luck Dennis?
Yep.
Alone?
Yep.
When?
Sometime soon.
When, Johnny?
Tell you all about it after I've seen him.
Johnny, it's dangerous.
Say, look, if I'm going to stay at that place you told me about over at Lake Mojave, I may as well go and get settled, huh? How do I get there?
I'll drive you over, Johnny.
No point in that. I've got my rented car.
Well, you'll probably want to be seeing the mine, too. Maybe I can be of help to you.
Or maybe you just want to be present if I happen to keep a date with Hard Luck Dennis.
Now, I didn't say that.
You didn't need to. Jake, I want you to stay right here in Kingman so you can keep in touch with whatever the police dig up and still be in touch with me. There's a phone at the Lake Mojave Resort, isn't there?
Well, sure, Johnny.
Also, don't forget that $3 million claim may be filed here at your office any minute. If so, I want to know about it. Now, how do I get to Lake Mojave? Head east on Highway 68, he said, so I did. And 13 miles out of town, I found the little side road, Yucca Trail, that Hard Luck had described over the phone. The next mile and a quarter was about the worst driving I ever encountered. This was nothing but an old wagon trail. Several times, the crankcase and rear axle scraped on boulders in the middle of it. The trail had dropped off sharply from the highway, and as far as I could see, there was nothing but sun-baked rock and gravel of the Mojave Desert, splotched here and there with withered sagebrush, tumbleweed, some weirdly shaped Joshua trees, an occasional yucca plant with its stalk poking upward like a huge candle, and too many kinds of cactus to mention. All of it surrounded by bleak needles and crags of rock, by high plateaus and mesas. The going got so bad, I'd almost decided to get out and walk when I spotted the old miner's shack that Hard Luck had named as our meeting place. As I approached it, I could see no sign of life around it. Hello? Anybody here? Hard Luck Dennis? Hello? Nothing. No one. No sign of life at all, huh? The sudden movement at the corner of the shack was nothing but an ancient desert turtle plodding at what he probably thought was breakneck speed toward a shady spot under a sagebrush. Hello? Hard Luck! Anyone inside there? Well...
That's not.
What?
Should have looked round back at this shack right. Don't reach for anything, mister.
Hard Luck.
Dollar?
Yes.
Yeah. You come alone, like I said?
I don't see anybody else around.
Stand real still, Dollar. Don't move. No gun. That's smart. Sit down there on that bench.
Sure. Now, what's this all about, Hard Luck?
I didn't do it. That's what it's all about. I didn't do it. I didn't kill the Haskell boys. You understand that?
I didn't think you did.
No. Why not?
Because if you had, I think you would have skipped the country. You wouldn't have asked me to come here and talk to you.
That's right. That's right, Dollar. Oh, you just trying to soften me up.
Not much point in that, is there, with you holding a gun on me? If you didn't do it, Hard Luck, why don't you go to the police in Kingman and tell them that?
I wouldn't have a chance. Judge or jury, anything else. The whole town's against me. They made up their mind I did it, so the best lawyer in the country couldn't save me.
Apparently the whole town thought a lot of the Haskell brothers.
Surely they had fine men. That's why I picked them to share the mine with me.
The only reason you picked them was because they had money and you know it.
Yeah, like all the rest. Didn't you see the ore they took out of the Midas Touch?
I heard about it.
Yeah, rich ore. $1,200 a ton, and I didn't plant it there. It's been there all the time. Even Captain Hardin couldn't find where I'd sorted it because I didn't.
Oh, you know that he was out there?
Sure I do. I know everything that goes on in this desert.
All right, then look. Suppose you put down that gun and tell me what happened the day the mine caved in on the Haskells.
You bet I'll tell you. That's why I called you. But I won't put down this gun until I'm sure you're on my side.
Well, then wave it in some other direction.
You want to hear what I got to say? Then sit still and listen to me.
First tell me this. Was it murder?
It was murder.
Then who...
But not by my hand.
Then who did it? Do you know?
Yes, I know.
Who?
They wanted to see the mine again. Get some more samples. That was last Friday.
The day of the cave-in?
Yeah, so I took them down there. Gave them a pick. Showed them where to chip it off down on the second level.
Go on.
But then I left them there for a minute.
Why?
I heard a car pull up, so I went back out. Went back to see who it was. There wasn't supposed to be anybody around that mine. I had it posted. But I'd heard this car pulling up.
Well, go on.
So I left the Haskells below and went on.
You said that.
In a hurry I went. No time for my eyes to get used to the bright sunlight outside. All I saw was the car. When I stuck my head out, that's when it hit me.
What do you mean? When what hit you?
A rock, a club, or something. And it knocked me out. When I come to, the cave-in was all over. The Haskells were dead in there. And I knew what everybody would think, so I lit out, stayed in the desert.
Well, do you know who it was who hit you?
Sure, by the car.
Who?
The same one that made the cave-in.
Who?
Dollar, it was... Listen. There's somebody coming out there. You cheated me. You brought him.
No, I did not. Hard luck. Get away from the door. Duck! Hard luck. Yeah, I guess they named you right.
Now, here's our star to tell you about tomorrow's intriguing episode of this week's story.
Tomorrow, the so-called trackless desert yields a set of tracks that lead straight to... But if I told you, you'd know, wouldn't you? So join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. It is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone, who also wrote this week's story. Be sure to join us tomorrow night, same time and station, for the next exciting episode of Yours Truly, Johnny Dollar. Roy Rowan speaking.
Yep, everybody's having quite a bit of hard luck, it seems. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, Part 2 of the 5-part Midas Touch Matter from July 3rd, 1956, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank you for making us a part of your day. Please thank this radio station and support their advertisers. It is their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite radio station. Our shows are also available through iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, through Amazon's Audible app. Search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. And by the way, your positive comments and positive ratings on all of those platforms help us to grow. so we would appreciate that. Search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Go to my webpage, classicradio.stream. There you can stream the shows, learn more about classic radio collecting. You can also contact me there as well. classicradio.stream. You can buy me a copy there. Thanks for tuning in. Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.